Captain's log 250226. This is actually my second entry today. I was just at work today, thinking about some things. Um, it's funny. I work construction. I work in the trades, and it's can be super chill one moment and then a total crap show the next. And it's funny how you can simultaneously love something and hate it. But it's always the guys that make it good, right? Like you're always having a good time when you're hanging out with good crew. So I have a great crew with me where I'm at. Um, I'm foreman, and the guys that work with me are awesome. Couldn't ask for a better crew. But anyways, I was listening to Rollo Tomasi, one of his shows, and he mentioned this idea of Delta men, and it really stuck with me because honestly, it describes exactly what the people who I'm around every day are like. They're just, I mean, they're awesome. I love them all, but the world kind of doesn't see them, right? So, you know, guys showing up to work at 6 a.m. and you know doing construction, it's not glorious, but if they stop showing up, everything falls apart. The world stops. And it's yeah, it was interesting hearing it from someone like Rollo. He's obviously got a big presence on the internet with his books and everything too. um yeah, so I was thinking about that and thinking about what it means, and that kind of gave me the idea for the name of the channel, because I guess I'm around that a lot. I represent that in some way. um and hopefully I can document some of it and bring a voice to some of these people. But I mean, I obviously want to document mostly personal stuff in these logs as well. Um, just everything really. But yeah, just the type of work where you get a good crew and it's amazing, or if you on with a crew that you're not so happy with, then it can be total shit. But or you have jobs that are either amazing or total shit. But even the crappy jobs can be fun if you have a good crew. And honestly, like the probably the funniest and easiest going people in the world would be considered these Delta men, because I don't know, you're just dealing with shit all the time. You're basically, your life is set as what you are. Most people who get into construction and trades are there because they needed a job of some sort, and that's just what they could do. Um, they didn't they didn't dream of being a plumber when they were a kid. I mean, some maybe did, but probably not very many. Um, so it's it's rewarding in its own way, but it's also not very glamorous. Obviously, nobody really makes movies or anything about that type of person, but they're obviously important if you want the world to keep running. But yeah, it's it is interesting. I got into it when I was in high school. Um, didn't know what I wanted to do. I went through all university courses, and then basically had to sit down with the guidance counselor and explain that I didn't really know exactly what I wanted to do. I had an idea. I had things that I was interested in, and I went to a school that was heavily influenced by the trades. We had a lot of shop classes, very rural type school, but yeah. So my guidance counselor was quick to suggest trade, and the trade happened to be plumbing. And so I did a co-op plumbing, and I got hired as an apprentice fairly quickly. And I never really I thought about university a lot because my buddies were there, and it seemed really fun, but it costs a lot of money, and I never really at that point thought I had a chance of even getting, like, even being feasible to do university, to be able to afford it, and all those things. I didn't know anything about it, and so I just started plumbing. And honestly, I fucking hated it. It was when you're an apprentice, it can be total crap. um no pun intended. But yeah, like I had some good days, obviously, but I just kept thinking, like, is the rest of my life? This is what it's going to be. And obviously, when you're an apprentice, you also don't understand the big picture, so you're like doing stupid whatever stuff that you have no idea why you're doing it in the grand scheme of things. You have a general idea, but you don't get to like step back and plan things. So yeah, I had some pretty depressing moments, but I was also I worked really really hard, and I uh, I enjoyed lots of it as well. Um, but it's definitely hard when you're like young. You're seeing your buddies go off to college, go off to university, and they're living this other life, this exciting life, partying and meeting people, meeting girls. Uh, the only thing that you have that they don't is you end up having a bit of money, which can be good, can be bad. You can be smart with your money, or you can spend it. I did a bit of both, unfortunately. uh, but yeah, no. So that's got into that, got my ticket, and did plumbing for a few years there, and then got offered a job doing another trade. And it was kind of random that it happened, but it was got offered to do sprinkler fitting, and where I am, it was quite a big jump in the pay for doing sprinklers compared to plumbing, or at least the jobs that I was doing. Um, so I looked into it, and I was granted a year towards my apprenticeship, and I jumped right into another apprenticeship there, and started sprinkler fitting. Which, I mean, honestly, it looking back, it's like, well, I'm super glad I did it, but the thought of doing a whole nother apprenticeship is like, it sucks. Like going back to being the bitch, basically, um, and not knowing everything, and then also, being a idiot, having a ego and thinking you know more than you actually do because you've been in the trades for how long and running jobs, etc. But now it's a whole new thing, so you got to put your ego aside and yeah, buckle down. But got my license for that. Obviously, I worked hard when I was an apprentice, and buckled down, and yeah, so now I'm dual licensed, and running sprinkler jobs now, and in the I don't know, I guess medium sized city. Um, yeah, so it's been a ride, but there's lots of lessons I learned in life along the way with that. But I yeah, I don't regret the path that I took, but there's definitely lots of other things that I want to do. There's lots of other things that I want to not only accomplish, but things that I'm interested in. And as a guy that's like, I got so many different interests, and they're so varied, it's hard to it's hard to do that and be like 100% focused on my trade and my job. So what I mean by that is, I know there's some people that, like, when they become, they become a sprinkler fitter, they live and breathe it. They want to know everything about it. And in some ways I want to know as well, obviously, because I want to be really good at my job. Everybody wants to be the best. So, or at least anybody who's competitive like I am. So everybody wants to be the best. And no matter what, I want to be good at my job. And I think I'm pretty decent. But I also have interests that are beyond that, and things that I care about beyond that. So it can you can your mind can wander at work. So which is fine. But it's funny when you're a tradesperson, you whether you like it or not, that's basically your identity. You know, hey, this is so and so the electrician. Hey, this is so and so the welder. The plumber, the this, the that. When people meet you, it's as soon as they hear what you do, as your profession, that's kind of what they see you as. I don't know if that's the same for, like an accountant or, whatever. But yeah, I'm sure it is for like doctors and stuff. They see, obviously, but those people wear their profession on their sleeve. They, the world looks up to that kind of person. The world kind of doesn't really look, the world looks more at the trades as like a useful thing to put in their contacts. It's like, oh, someday I might need a plumber. Someday I might need an electrician. It'd be nice to have this person in my contacts, but they don't necessarily like see you as all the other interests and things that you're interested in, or your personality, or all these other things. So it can get it's just something I've noticed when I was younger, I guess, more than now. Now it's, I try to take it upon myself to talk about other things, I guess, and have these interests, and cultivate them, because it's an important part. But anyways, that's the start of my journey there. But to go back, like, hearing Rolo talk about it, and then, as I said, like, to connect those dots there, people see you as that thing, and you do kind of get this feeling that you're not necessarily, and some more than others, but not necessarily like this individual character. You're this you're grouped in with so and so. You're grouped in with the construction or the trades or whatever you're doing, garbage delivery or garbage pickup, etc. Um, yeah, and I know, like, for a lot of young guys, you know, nowadays it must be insanely hard just in general, because no matter what you're doing, because life's gotten like crazy. Life's gotten very complicated, and difficult for people trying to start their life right now. And there's it's very common in the trades for people to get zeroed out, and have to kind of restart, whether it's relationships, marriage, whatever. They're starting from rock bottom. A lot of guys get into drinking and drugs. It's super common, which is, a lot of like the bad things in life you see. It's probably why a lot of guys are like hilarious, because you get like, you kind of get this like funny bone, because you're constantly dealing with like, you know, unfortunate events, and then you're compensating with humor, and which is, I think, is great. I think that's actually like a great outlet, because it's like, what's better than laughing about things? Like, you can't change it. So uh, I think it's great to just laugh it off. Um, and they say, oh, you people always throw bullshit like therapy and stuff, but realistically, talking to like your mates at work is probably far beyond anything you're ever gonna, as long as you got good coworkers or good friends, that's, your brothers are gonna understand you far beyond some pencil pusher, right? So like they're gonna get it. And that humor, like, when it might seem harsh, but when you're on the inside, it's it takes the edge off, and you might rib on each other and that, but in the end, these guys got your back, hopefully, right? So it's yeah, it's good that way. And getting, starting, like, seeing guys start over again a lot, uh and seeing guys coming into this, the economy and the craziness of the world right now, it's tough to do something that's like uh, something like a trade where you start with, usually starting off as apprentice, you're not getting paid a lot. You're seeing these other people on the internet making a bunch of money for, video game videos or whatever, or the chicks your age are twerking around and making a bunch of money doing that. And like, honestly, it can suck, and you're thinking like, damn, I'm working my ass off, and I have 65 years of this to try to scrape enough money together to retire, and killing your body. And you know that's that's a tough trade off, and I can see why people don't like want to get into it now. People are trying to find other outlets, trying to find other ways to make money, and even people in the trades have to find secondary incomes, and it can be hard. But yeah, but it's good, nice to see recognition from guys like Rolo. I respect his work. I'm sure there's things I don't agree on with him, but probably few and far between. He's been a great influence on a lot of men and myself as well. So yeah, maybe I'll one of these logs I'll review. I've ordered his new book, so I'd like to read that. Maybe I'll review that, because I'm gonna do a few different things, doing some reviews, books, maybe, I don't know, maybe movies. But I like to read, and yeah, talk about some of those sticky subjects too. Like, obviously, the male female dynamics is these days is a little crazy. Uh, yeah, Lord only knows that I've had my fair share of incidents with that. Um, yeah, and then some of the other, like, you know some of the other topics these days, where I guess it's a little taboo to talk, or used to be taboo to talk about it, but like, there's a lot going on in the world, and a lot of things getting thrown around. There's I'm sure it's mostly fabricated, to try to cause division, but like, a lot of different conflicting ideas on things like racism and whatever. gender and science and all the things. And it's just like, it's funny because when you when you work construction and stuff, you're just in this whole other world. Like the corporate man, just it would blow them. It would, like, they just wouldn't, they wouldn't understand, I think, the freedom that you kind of have in some ways. And with that freedom, like, the you don't, there's no, like, I think being able to say your piece and to, like, say things out loud and talk to each other and argue if you have to. And I mean, people get in fist fights at jobs, like anything, that stuff. It really it really fixes a lot of the issues that we kind of run into. And, like, we don't have problems with racism. We don't have problems with, like, different types of people not getting along. If you have an issue with somebody, 90% of the time they did something stupid, like guys getting arguments over the work. Like, you're in my way. No, you're in my way. No, your stuff's not supposed to go there, et cetera, et cetera. Sometimes it becomes, conflict, and sometimes it becomes a fist fight. But then it's basically done. And you're working with, like, every different type of person, because, these types of people, these types of men, there's a few women, but these types of men, they're from kind of every walk of life, and every different race and every different culture. And it's this huge melting pot. And we laugh about it. We have, you know, guys be telling, racist jokes, sexist jokes, any kind of whatever. Everything's funny. Everything's in good humor. And like, there's no, like, you can do that there. And there's no, you don't take that home and be like, oh, well, that guy, he's such a jerk because he clearly hates so and so. This, like, you just understand that, like, hey, we're all grunts here. We all have to do this job. And it's just like, that's like one of the beautiful parts of it, to be honest, especially when you see all this shit. If you're online and social media and you see all this shit going on in the world, and, like, you want to see people work together, go on a construction site, and you'll see every different type of person working together, and it's honestly great. So yeah, anyways, just rambling on here, but that's my log for today. I think I'll do another one tomorrow. I'm gonna try to do one daily because it'd be nice to just rant about things and talk about what's going on. At some point, I'll try to get specific about things going on, but I'm just gonna get used to this practicing this whole YouTube thing. Yeah, so that's it. Delta out.